Motivational story: How I introduce myself. The struggle begins. Chapter 1, The fear of speaking. In a small, bustling school, a young girl named Aisha sat quietly in the corner of her classroom. While others shared stories about their hobbies and dreams, Aisha's heart raced. She wanted to speak but felt her words wouldn't matter. Every time her teacher called for introductions, Aisha lowered her eyes, hoping to disappear. A moment of reflection. One evening, Aisha sat by her window, watching children playing outside. She whispered to herself, "Why can't I be like them? Why am I afraid of speaking?" Her diary became her best friend, where she wrote everything she wished she could say. She promised herself she would find her voice someday. The teacher's advice. The next day, her teacher, Miss Sarah, noticed her silence. After class, she approached Aisha and gently asked, "Why don't you speak up, my dear?" Aisha hesitated, but Miss Sarah smiled warmly. "Start small. Practice your introduction in front of a mirror. You are braver than you think." These words stayed with Aisha, sparking a tiny flame of hope. Chapter 2, Practicing in secret. Aisha stood in front of her mirror, her voice trembling as she said, "My name is Aisha. I love drawing and reading stories." She repeated it over and over, trying to ignore the doubt creeping in. Sharing with family. One evening, during dinner, Aisha mustered the courage to introduce herself to her parents as if they were strangers. Her father clapped and said, "Bravo! You have a lovely voice." This small encouragement gave her strength. A new challenge at school. Miss Sarah announced a class presentation competition. Aisha felt torn. Should she try, or should she stay in her comfort zone? After battling with herself, she decided to give it a shot, knowing it was her chance to grow. The first presentation. Chapter 3, Facing the fear. The day of the presentation arrived. Aisha held her paper tightly as she waited for her turn. Her palms were sweaty, and her heart pounded in her chest. She whispered, "I can do this. I practiced. I am ready." A nervous start. When her name was called, Aisha walked to the front of the class. Her voice shook as she began, "My name is Aisha, and I want to talk about my favorite hobby, drawing." A few students giggled, but she kept going, focusing on her words and not on her fears. The small victory. As she finished, there was silence for a moment, and then her classmates clapped. Aisha felt a wave of relief and pride. It wasn't perfect, but she had done it. For the first time, she introduced herself in front of others without running away. Encouragement from others. Chapter 4, Unexpected compliments. After the presentation, a classmate named Sarah approached her and said, "I liked how you talked about your hobby. I also love drawing." Aisha was surprised. She never thought her words could connect with someone. Building confidence. Over the next few weeks, Aisha started participating more in small class activities. She began raising her hand to answer questions, even if she wasn't sure of the answer. Every small step made her feel stronger. Support from friends. One day, her friend Hira said, "Aisha, you're really improving. I remember how quiet you used to be. Now, you're an inspiration." Hearing this, Aisha realized she was slowly becoming the person she always wanted to be. The big opportunity. Chapter 5, At the school event. The school announced a public speaking competition. Aisha's heart skipped a beat. Could she handle something this big? Miss Sarah encouraged her, saying, "You've come so far. This is your moment to shine." Preparing with determination, Aisha practiced day and night. She stood in front of her family, speaking loudly and clearly. She rehearsed in front of the mirror, reminding herself of all the small victories she had achieved. The day of the competition. On the day of the event, Aisha walked onto the stage with confidence. She introduced herself boldly, saying, "My name is Aisha, and today I want to share my journey of finding my voice." Her story captivated the audience, and by the end, they gave her a standing ovation. Overcoming setbacks. Chapter 6, Facing criticism. Despite her success, some people criticized her. "She's still not good enough," they whispered. At first, these words hurt Aisha, but then she reminded herself of Miss Sarah's advice, "Focus on your progress, not the opinions of others." Learning from mistakes instead of feeling defeated, Aisha reviewed her performance and worked on areas she could improve. She realized mistakes were just lessons in disguise. A stronger mindset with each new challenge, Aisha's confidence grew. She no longer feared making mistakes because she understood they were part of the journey. Inspiring others. Chapter 7, helping a friend. One day, Aisha noticed a new student, Alina, who was just as shy as she had once been. Aisha offered to help her practice introductions, sharing her own story to inspire Alina. Becoming a mentor, Aisha started a small group at school to help other students overcome their fear of public speaking. She taught them the same techniques that had helped her. The ripple effect. As more students gained confidence, Aisha realized the power of her journey. Her struggles had turned into a source of strength for others. A moment of recognition. Chapter 8, a school award. At the end of the year, Aisha was awarded the Most Inspiring Student trophy for her growth and contribution to the school. Standing on the stage, she thanked her teachers, friends, and family for their support. Reflecting on the journey as she looked back, Aisha felt grateful for the moments of doubt and fear because they had led her to where she was now. If I can do it, anyone can, she thought. Sharing her story, Aisha decided to write her story in her diary, titled How I Introduced Myself. She hoped that one day, others would read it and find the courage to take their first step. Preparing for the future. Chapter 9, bigger dreams. Aisha started dreaming of speaking at bigger events, inspiring more people with her journey. She enrolled in workshops to improve her skills further. Facing new challenges. As she entered a new phase of her life, she encountered tougher challenges, but she faced them with the same determination that had brought her this far. The journey continues. Aisha realized that introducing yourself wasn't just about words, it was about showing the world who you truly are. Her journey had only just begun. The final step. Chapter 10, a global platform. Years later, Aisha stood on an international stage, sharing her story with thousands. I was once afraid of speaking, she said, but now I use my voice to inspire change. Gratitude and growth. Aisha thanked everyone who had supported her along the way. She reminded the audience that even the smallest steps could lead to great achievements. Leaving a legacy. Aisha's story became a symbol of hope for those who struggled with self-doubt. She left the stage with a smile, knowing she had turned her fear into her greatest strength. This motivational story highlights how small steps and persistence can lead to incredible growth.